And welcome to the 5-Star Dynasty Podcast, episode 107, More Than I Can Bear. I am your host, Tomcat. This is Piff. How you doing, Piff? I came up with the name off the top of the head because I realized we didn't come up with one.
No, that's fine. 107.
Yeah, 107.
I'm
Moving right along.
Feeling good. Ready to talk some football.
Good. And we're getting plenty of news. Again, who knows if it's going to be as big as it was last time, but I'm hoping some more news is going to happen. But luckily, days have passed since we recorded those other two, so we'll get right into it. First, Russell Wilson is going to get paid by the Broncos to go play football, allegedly, for the Steelers. How do you feel about that? We'll get right into that right away.
All right. Well, Russ to the Steelers, it was a no-brainer for the Steelers because if he doesn't work out, they can just cut bait and it's not a big of a hit, you know?
Exactly.
And they also...
not a big hit. Sorry to interrupt.
But, I mean, he's... I don't know. I'm not sold. And they traded away Deontay Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So that's somebody gone.
I saw a video where somebody was saying how, like, Pittsburgh just happens to know when to trade these wide receivers. And I don't know. I like Deontay. I have a lot of shares of him, and I hope he does something. But I will say Pickens is there. I will say Calvin Austin was starting to do a little something here or there, popping off, which sucks because he's an example, and I'll bring these up every once in a while. He's an example of somebody I held on to, took him in like the late third, fourth, maybe even fifth round the year he came out, held on to him for a year or two, and then just finally decided he was the one I was going to cut. And then now out of nowhere, he has a couple games. So we'll see how that goes. They could always draft a wide receiver or even sign one at this point. But I guess we'll talk about the fact that they also made a trade. No, they made a trade for Justin Fields, and they get a 6th round unless he starts 51% of snaps, I believe it is.
Yeah, and then they get a 4th.
Yeah, so I almost think it's like, hey, unless Russ is doing monumentally bad, no matter what, Russ is going to be the starter. They're going to only have to give up a 6, and then they still want to invest their future in Justin Fields if they like what they see. That's my opinion. Like, even if he comes in,
I think that's exactly what's going to happen because they just brought in Russ, like I said, just because, you know, he might be something. And if not, then they got Fields as the backup plan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if Russ is, imagine if Russ is the best scenario for Tomlin is if Russ is just enough to get them to where the record's good enough where Fields takes over, he's not starting 51% of the snaps, and then he gets to keep his streak. I'm actually pretty happy about it for the fact that I do own a little bit of Pickens. I'm hoping they're going to draft another wide receiver, if I'm honest. Pittsburgh has always been really good at drafting wide receivers. Obviously, they can't hit on every single one, but they've hit on a lot. So,
yeah, I like them both moves. Make sense, so they don't have to waste any capital on a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't have to waste any capital on a quarterback, which is why I said I believe Mike Williams is. We'll talk about that a little later, I guess. But Mike Williams is that's one of the teams he's visiting, I believe. I believe it was I want to say it was the Steelers, Panthers, and Jets.
But I was MIA yesterday, so
yeah. Do you think
anything that went down yesterday?
That's fair. Do you think Russ, or I know Tomlin said Russ is the starter, but do you think Russ is going to be the starter right away for the rest of the season, or do you think it's going to eventually be Fields?
I think it's going to be a competition, believe it or not, in the beginning.
Yeah, we're going to hear about in camp that Fields is doing really good.
Yeah, it's like, and then they get to pick whoever, like I said, and then if it's not Russ, which I don't know, I think it's going to be Russ. Just because, they usually give the veteran the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the way it's going to go. I think that there's a good chance, even if Fields is doing well, that they're going to give Russ the nod for the first couple games at least. So, see what they got out of him, because practices and everything, they do want to see game time. They know that Russ has the better experience, and let's see how much of it was really Russ and how much was the Broncos? Because there was times Russ was starting to come back and do well, and then they benched him because they didn't want to have to pay him a certain amount of money, which is, I understand that's business, but let's not.
And they pay him anyway.
I know. That's the funniest part. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's one of those things where they benched him. It wasn't that he was doing bad and they had to bench him. He's finally starting to play up to a certain level. No, he wasn't Seattle Russ, but he was still serviceable. I mean, if you had Sutton, you were happy. He was getting all those miracle touchdowns.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now Jerry Judy's gone, so
Jerry Judy's gone
out of there too. So
I have a decent amount of Marvin Mims, and I feel like I can offload that because people are going to be like, "Oh man, who's playing
I've been trying. Nobody's biting.
Nobody's biting." Good to know. Good to know the market because our market's
for a second. I've been off asking for a second, and I'm getting nothing.
Well, I would want definitely at least a second. So yeah. Oh, that just is what it is, isn't it? I think you have to move up Pickens because I don't care what anybody says. He was doing very well with Mason Rudolph, and he did meh off and on with Kenny Pickett. So I think either quarterback, Justin Fields or this stage Russ, is still going to upgrade Pickens to from what he was. If he was doing what he was with Mason Rudolph, come on. With Deontay there,
Russ still has that bomb, and that'd be perfect for Pickens.
I think he's got that for Pickens, and that's why I think the Mike Williams thing is weird because they want Mike Williams, but that's kind of his game too. So it's like, what do you just have two guys bombing?
Going to see the Jets too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Aaron Rodgers comes back because they start giving him a couple weapons.
We'll see. See if he can tough it out. He might be. He's running for vice president.
Vice president, yeah. Get the fuck out of here. You're gonna run for vice president and like as a third party member, knowing you're not gonna win.
Yeah, I hope he does, just to take votes away from each one of those retards.
The votes don't matter. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that. We're not with football. I meant the votes don't matter with football. YouTube.
Yeah.
I meant the votes don't matter with football. We're gonna talk football. That's what I meant. Okay, so anyways, yes. Football, Aaron Rodgers hopefully plays, and we will keep it at that. And we're gonna keep it we're gonna try to keep that out of that.
All right, but back to the Steelers.
Back to the Steelers. Now, I'm looking forward to Russ saying some crazy something. Even if he loses his job, he's gonna say something like about make the team better, blah blah. I'm gonna be here, this and that. Even if he's dying inside, he's still gonna say that.
I feel like, but Pittsburgh is not the place to do this. If he wants to play that fake hero bullshit, the guys in Pittsburgh are just going to call you out on it. And it won't last.
Especially when you're married to like I don't know if she's R&B or pop or what she is. She's like pop star. I don't even know what she is.
Yeah.
Pop star, I guess. Yeah.
So
there we go.
Yeah. What's I don't really see Russ working out there. I don't think it's going to work.
I'm gonna. This is how I feel about it. It's really weird. So it's all about perspective. For me, when Russ got signed immediately, I was like confident about it, and I don't know why I was optimistic about it. And then the second they traded for Fields, I immediately thought Fields was going to take the job. Unless Tomlin's playing the long game and he purposely wants that pick to be a 6th round and not a 4th. If he's purposely going to have Justin Fields learn behind Russ and then come in, he knows which game of the year he has to put in Justin Fields. He's already written down the percentage number. He knows which one he stays below 51% of the total snaps. And then Justin Fields takes off and then is a thing.
And yeah, but it's in Arthur Smith's hands now. You know how I feel about him.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, guys, I don't really think Mike Tomlin is going to call plays for the Steelers. I was being sarcastic because I hate Arthur Smith so much that I had to say something. I just, I really liked him in Tennessee. I praised him in Tennessee, and then I didn't like him here. So if he makes Najee relevant again, I will be very happy with Arthur Smith because I have more Najee than any other Steeler, if I'm honest. So,
me too.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But Other than that, I think it's going to start with Russ, and then I don't know if they're losing really bad. If they start off like 0-3, 0-4, look for Fields to come right in. If they're doing, even if they're like 6-4 or like 7-4 or something like that, definitely look for Russ to stay in there for at least the whole year, or Fields coming in at the very end so they can Tomlin
that pick
looks like
low.
a genius. Imagine if they could sneak into the playoffs and have Justin Fields play less than 51% of the snaps.
I mean, you can't really count out the Steelers ever of not making
With
the
what they did
playoffs
with
because they're always there, you know?
Yeah, with what they did with Mason, that's crazy. Sorry, Mason. But I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to say about.
Steelers?
I will say Arthur Smith was spotted at the combine, I guess, asking about and talking about your boy Bowers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that would
That's
really
not good
suck if he
news.
already has Fryermuth and then he wants to
That's not
move
good
in.
news for That's not good news for Fryermuth.
I don't think it's good move for either because they don't care about fantasy football. They would use both of them. You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
They don't give a crap about fantasy football.
No,
They
they
use
don't.
Jonnu and Pitts together in Atlanta. But yeah, so we can move on to Fields' former team. You wanted to talk about the Bears.
Bears making some moves.
Now, making a move, they traded away Fields for nothing, though. I don't like that part. I do that part does make me actually feel.
As a Patriots fan, I was pissed, actually, to be completely honest with you. As a Patriots fan, I was extremely upset that they didn't make a play on Fields after striking out on Ridley. That just was very disappointing.
After striking out on Ridley and then saying, I don't know how you feel about it, but also saying, and this has to do with the Bears as well, so it all wraps in. I'm not going off topic, but saying that Keenan Allen was fourth round was too rich for him, which I understand the whole he's older and he's been injured. A fourth round still nothing. You don't know what a fourth round is. I know talent is better now, and you do find diamonds in the rough, but you know what Keenan Allen is, and even if you get a year or two of him for a fourth round pick, that's crazy. I think you get more than that. I do. Because people want to say people are injured and this and that, but that's also, I mean, it sucks you hurt your shoulder, but like say you hurt your shoulder and you're out the whole year, or you hurt your knee and you're out the whole year. Yes, it sucks, and you can get yourself better, but it's also a year of not getting tackled a bunch of times, like just what we said about the running backs.
Yeah.
So it evens out. Everybody's different. Some people fall off a cliff. Some people go a little bit longer. I really like some of the moves the Bears made. I've been very vocal that I don't think Caleb Williams is like crazy game-changing special, but I will say there is a chance that he's going to look pretty good because of the offense that they've surrounded around him.
Yeah. I mean, I think they might not even end up taking him, but that's me. That's just me hot taking it.
Who do you think they're going to take?
Drake May.
You think that? I'm going to sneeze.
Oh,
sorry about that, guys.
But yeah. I think that Caleb Williams, they might trade out of that pick with like Washington for like an extra second,
like a first next round or something.
Yeah,
first next year
or something like that. Yeah. And then they get more capital, and then take the guy they really want instead of just taking the consensus guy.
I don't think I could see that, but I don't think Drake.
It's super hot takey, It's very, it's not going to happen type deal. But I just hope it does.
Yeah, what you were saying. You going with your hot take?
Going with my hot take. Yeah, I think that they're not going to take it. The pick is getting traded. They're trading with Washington. Yes.
I don't think the pick being traded is the hot take. I think the hot take is that they don't want Caleb. And that they would take Drake May.
I think
you think Drake May's the number 2?
You
think he's the number 3 because you think they're going to trade back to 3.
Oh, the Pats got the 3rd, so they're going to trade back to 2.
Oh, not 3. Where's Washington?
2.
Oh, you think they're going to trade back for? They're not going to get much trade back for 1 though.
Get another, like I said, a second or a whatever.
That's
You
fair.
still might get a lot to trade up to one just because they want to get that guy. You know, he's from the DC area too, so
That's fair. We are talking about a team that had Sam Howell as their starter, but I just
where'd Howell go? Howell got traded too, didn't he?
Seattle, I believe. So if Geno does bad, then look for him to be like the, you know what he'll be? If Geno falls out, he's going to be the waiver or cheap trade stud that you got for super flex or 2 QB. He'll be like the guy in the second half of the year gets a job because Geno's doing bad or gets hurt, and then he just randomly is the fantasy darling. Yeah,
But I like what they did. I like what they did this offseason. It makes a lot of sense. It was strategically done.
They're gonna take Caleb.
Yeah, I think so too. But I deeply don't want them to.
Only way they don't take Caleb. See, if they didn't trade Justin Fields, I could see them easily doing what you said. But once they traded Justin Fields, I pretty much thought it was for sure Caleb. But I know there are ways that it could go the opposite, and exactly like you said, it could just be a curveball, and they actually like a different QB more. But
yeah, I'll leave that for the next one or whatever we're doing next.
Oh yeah, no. I was just gonna say, I do think they're gonna take them. The only way I think they don't take Caleb is if they're trading away from the pick for multiple firsts. If it's another team where they're moving back like multiple picks, but they're gonna get so many firsts, they're like, all right, okay with it. Let's see what we got. You know, maybe they trade back and they get one of the QBs that we really didn't expect them to get, but they're willing to risk it because they're like, you know what, even if we don't get it, we have one bad year and then we're going to have 2 or 3 draft picks next year kind of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I really like, you know, as long as he can stay healthy, I like the Swift move. I like the DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I don't think a rookie quarterback is going to be able to support that many weapons. So I am a little worried. As somebody who has a decent amount of DJ and a lot of Keenan Allen, I was hoping to ride him into the sunset. He was a guy I was really hoping with Herbert. I was just going to, first of all, who's Herbert throwing it to? We'll talk about that on another episode or something. It's crazy. Like I saw people making jokes being like, oh, you better learn how to hand off better.
Yeah. It's bad news over there. I don't know what they're planning. I mean, they still have Josh Palmer. He's not bad.
And they have Huge. They have,
he's going to have to take a big step forward. He's going to have to take a big step forward.
Not a one. So are they going to sign? I don't think there's any free agents they can sign. They'd have to trade for somebody or everybody. You know what? A lot of the comments in the comments, you know, of any post about it, you see actual fans of the Chargers being like, "Guys, let's be serious. They're going to take a wide receiver in the first round." I totally agree with that.
At 5, or maybe I've heard they've been trying to trade back. So
trade back, take one of the good wide receivers that they would have liked anyways, but just get
something on top. Yeah.
Yep. I could see that. You definitely see that.
But the Bears, DeAndre Swift. That's a good move.
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore out from last year.
They signed the tight end, Gerald Everett.
I was going to say they have Everett, who they can piece in, because, again, they don't care about fantasy. So even if he just comes in, does a little bit of blocking, a little bit of catching, and gets a first down, that's all they care about.
And they still got Komet. So
they already have Komet. They already paid him and everything. And then they have
Roshan
and Khalil are good complementary backs. I think they both make the roster, but I could be wrong. But I think because of the injury history of Swift, I think they both make it, or one of them gets cut and hits the practice squad, and they have to risk somebody stealing them. In which case, your boy Roshan could be getting shipped off somewhere.
No, he's gonna stay. He's not going anywhere.
I'm just kidding. All right. Do you want to move on to third star?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, we could go a couple more minutes, but we could budget some time because I didn't have anything else to say about him. I don't know if you did.
No, I just think they did a lot of good moves. They worked on the defense last year. They worked on the offense this year. They might be a lot better this year.
The only thing that sucks, and I'm sure he looks back, is the fact that they couldn't keep Roquan Smith. Because, man, he was so good. But, all right, we'll move on. And we kind of combine two scenarios because it's one scenario for one team and it's one running back who left that team. So we'll start with the Raiders. So by chance, we were actually going to talk about Madison visiting, and then he happened to get signed like a half hour, maybe even 20 minutes before we started recording. So it was very recent. We're good on that news. We're both Zamir guys, I want to say.
I'm a Zamir guy, yeah, for sure. If it's going to be a split, obviously.
He looks jacked.
I feel like he's...
It's not a split. No. Oh. A classic committee where one's a lead back and the other guy cleans up, I'll agree with. But it's not going to be a 50-50.
Like 70-30.
Yes. No, I agree with
they
that.
might even add another guy in there. Who knows?
I agree with that. But I was just going to say the bulk of the carries should go through Zamir. And he looks jacked. I saw him in that one conference. And it's one thing to hear somebody's jacked, but to actually see it, you're like, okay, no, he definitely took this seriously. He knows Jacob's gone. He knows this is his chance to prove himself and then get a contract.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a stud, I think. He was very good on tape coming out of college.
I like that too, and he had some good times. He filled in last year, and he's definitely a guy that I picked up a lot because he would fall so far in some rookie drafts. I mean, later he became like an end of the first, second round toward the end of the rookie draft season. But when draft season first started, right around when most of our leagues start, I remember getting him in like the third or even fourth round. And I had like one league only where I got him in the fifth because nobody cared about him or wanted him because he was just like, oh, that's just Josh Jacobs' handcuff. And it's like, you don't know what's going to happen with Jacobs. So I'm cheering for him.
Yep. I want him to get those, get that one position for sure.
Yeah. So we agree that Madison is more of like, he'll take 30 to 35, maybe even 40% some weeks. It'll be off and on. It'll probably be as the game flows, the hot hand kind of thing. But I think Zamir will get the bulk of the carries, and Madison will just be a headache and / a handcuff. He'll be a handcuff. Like if you own him in Dynasty, you obviously don't want to drop him. But
no, but also it's a sell high on Zamir White right now too.
I think it's a sell high on Zamir, and I think it's a sell a little higher than you can on Alexander Madison, because there's going to be somebody. Not everybody. I say this a lot. I know it's like becoming like my saying, but you're going to find somebody who has Zamir and is confident in Zamir, but they're not 100% sure. So if you want to secure them that, hey, you can have the backfield. I'm not asking you to pay top dollar, but I'm asking you to pay more than most people would for a by himself Alexander Madison. I'm giving you this for this price because you have Zamir and you can't risk not having the right guy in the backfield, because there is that, chance. We've seen it happen before. I do not think it's going to happen, but there is that chance that you have the guy, you think you have the guy, you think you have the guy. Next thing you know, the other guy is the guy who's the actual guy starting. So,
they could draft a fucking running back,
That's another thing. They could totally draft another one, and then everybody's scared. So I agree with you. Sell high on Zamir if you can, or if you can't sell high on him, hold on to him and just pray.
Yeah. I mean, but I would take like a couple seconds for him.
Yeah, I would too. I personally think
I don't think I do it. I don't think I do it for 1 second.
If I'm really going for if I'm rebuilding, I go for everything you said. If I'm really going for a championship, or if I'm trying to repeat, or I really need something to happen, I might even trade him in a later pick for an older running back that nobody wants. Like there's going to be somebody who's super high on Zamir and doesn't want David Montgomery. There's going to be a guy who's super hot on Zamir and doesn't want Derrick Henry anymore. So you're able to maybe get Derrick and ride him for a year or two. Like even if it's only a year, you're like, hey, I'm trying to get this. I have leagues, like I lost a couple last year. I lost one that was a really important league to me, even though it was like it's a semi-local, people, and it's Darth Legis, and it's dude, it's awesome. And I was the only champion for years, and I was going for a 4P, I think. Might even been a 5. I think it was a 4P. And I lost in the Super Bowl. So it like sometimes you get that guy who just like really wants to do that repeat, and he's willing to make a trade that he normally wouldn't trade. It's so funny. I won every other year without trading, and then the one year I spent up for Stephon Diggs, he faded at the end of the year and failed me.
Sometimes you got to put all your chips in and risk it all. You know,
it's true.
But don't feel sad if if it doesn't go that way.
Exactly.
Can't regret those trades. I mean, you can regret them, but I don't know. I play in so many leagues. I don't even care if I lose a trade at this point. If I get my guy, it doesn't matter.
That's how I feel. Most of my leagues, I want to win. If I don't win, if I was in the playoffs, hey, wherever I landed is where my draft pick's going to be. If I didn't make the playoffs, whatever my record is where my draft pick's going to be. I'm going to draft what I'm going to draft. It is what it is. I might try to make some trades during the season. Hey, or the off season. Hey, it is what it is. But everybody has those certain leagues that they care about a little bit more. And I have a handful of them where like I didn't mean to win a bunch of years in a row, but it's like, oh, now I'm going on a 3P, or now I'm on a 4. That one league where I won 3 years in a row, Jags fan beat me in the Super Bowl to ruin my 4P, then completely disappeared and ghosted and got booted from the league the next year. So then even though I won the Super Bowl back the next year, he ruined my what would have been a 5P, and then didn't even come to defend his title. Just won and then disappeared. Like, oh, fuck you. Not even defending. So that's a big thing, guys. If you're watching out there, defend your title. Even if you want to leave a league, if you win the league, declare that you're going to be leaving the year after, defend your title and win again. I guess you're riding out into the sunset with the belt. But don't win a belt and then be like, all right, guys, that was cool. See you later. I mean, obviously, we think you should stay forever in the league. But if you have to leave, at least defend your belt once. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that for sure. You got to defend the title.
Defend the title. Because then if you lose, you didn't take the belt with you. And if you won, wow, that's impressive. You won 2 in a row. You already declared a full year before that you were going to leave. There was no shenanigans. There was no like, I'm taking, whatever. It's just like you declared it. You won again. Our hands are tied. Take the belt. Lineal belt's gone forever. We have to create a new one. But yeah, we blew through those 4. I mean, we still got in number 4, we still got leaving the Raiders. My apologies, Josh Jacobs. So we'll talk about Jacobs on the Raiders. Off the Raiders and onto the Packers. I am big on Jacobs on the Packers. I think he's going to do everything Aaron Jones did and more.
Oh yeah, they still have AJ Dillon too, so he's probably still going to get some work, but it's not going to be like it's like going to be like one of those 70-30 things,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 80-20.
As much as Jacobs had a piece of the pie, even last year, like other people, like there was always like random Brandon Bolden and whoever else randomly got signed that at the time was Josh McDaniels wanted to have. It was like a Patriots leftover, and he would just use them, and they would get, you know what I mean? So like that
Brandon
always
Bolden.
happens. It's very, very rare that a running back gets like Christian McCaffrey and Carolina numbers.
That could be good.
Like straight up Madden numbers, where you're getting purposeful delay of games or calling timeouts just so you don't have to use your backup running back.
Yeah, no, I like the Jacobs in Green Bay. That's going to be a nice spot for him.
I really like that. I think he'll catch a lot of passes too. I do.
Oh,
Aaron Jones caught a lot of passes. Jacobs happens to be a good receiver, in my opinion, too. When Derek Carr chose to throw to him, especially that one year he was the RB1, it was because not only was he running really well, but Derek Carr was throwing it to him a lot. So, yeah.
But yeah, the Jacobs, it's going to be really good there for him, I think.
Really good
Probably
chance of being top 10.
Top 5.
100% chance of being top 20, in my opinion.
He could be top 5.
Yeah. No. Could
He
be
got
top
potential to
5.
be top 5.
Could be top 5. Probably top 10. 100% top 20. That's my opinion. That's my gauge on him. His worst, like one of his worst seasons, he'll be like RB 18 or RB 19 or 20 if he has some off games. But I think he's going to be 5 to 10. I don't think he's going to be. He's not my RB like 3 or 4, but he has that potential. You already know he's been RB1 before.
Yep.
So I'm big on him, and I have a lot of shares of him. Obviously, like most of my shares are free leagues, but I still care about them. They're still fun.
Sell everybody.
Sell everybody, dude.
That's what
Sell
I
everybody.
say.
And it's interesting, like the pendulum's swinging a little too much on running backs now because we got a little bored today and started up a random league, and it was a 10-team league that filled up immediately, and we're drafting, and it's literally called the way too early dynasty league. So like we know we're drafting too early, and there's a chance we might even. Haven't decided if we're drafting the rookies early or not, but I know we're drafting our vets a little too early. So
it'd be more fun if you did the rookies too.
Dude, first 7 picks, wide receivers. No running backs. Christian McCaffrey didn't go and it's a 10-team league, as I told you, because I purposely made it a 10-team instead of a 12 because I wanted it to be, even though we're way too early, I don't want the teams to be so bare that if you missed on any picks, your team's just crap forever, and then the people want to leave the league. So I was like, maybe let me make it a 10-team. If you miss on a couple picks because somebody went to the wrong thing or the role wasn't what you thought it was, then at least you have enough of a team to salvage it. So I did 10-team, and Christian McCaffrey went at 110. I couldn't believe it. I don't understand it. Now, I picked 102, and I picked Chase. Who do you think 101 was?
JJ.
Nope.
Mahomes?
Nobody wanted to touch JJ until 103 because nobody knows who his quarterback is. So nobody wanted to touch him. So it went. CeeDee Lamb went 101.
Really? Wow.
CeeDee Lamb went 1. I took Chase at 2, and my reasoning was if Kirk was at the Vikings, then I would have taken Jefferson, no problem. But because I don't know who his quarterback is, and because I have a ton of JJ and maybe 1 or 2 Chase in all my several hundred leagues, I have barely any Chase. So I just grabbed Chase. I was like, cool, this is my chance. And then Amon-Ra went 4. Puka went 105.
Wow.
That's the hype of Puka right now.
That's high.
6, Garrett Wilson. And then Bijan went 7. So yeah, first 6. My apologies. Bijan, then Brees.
Bijan was the first running back off the board.
It was Bijan, then Brees, then Gibbs, then McCaffrey, and then Kyron. But the McCaffrey owner grabbed Kyron and McCaffrey.
Wow.
And then it went AJ Brown 2-2, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins 2-4.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor 2-5 to Giants fan. Devon A-Chain 2-8 or 2-6. Josh Jacobs 2-7 went to Tommy Dog. Obviously, he saw that Packer running back and wanted him. Sam Laporta went 2-8. Now it is TCR with the tight end premium. I will say that though.
It's only 0.5 though. That's not that much of a bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just like an average bump.
Dude, Travis Etienne went at 2-9.
It's a fall from grace. He was going higher than that last year.
Yeah. I got him. And then Saquon went 2-10. DJ Moore went 3-1. And then I got Pittman at 3-2. So I ended up with Chase, Etienne, and Pittman. Olave went after that. Devontae went after that. Drake London, Ayuk, Trey McBride in the 3rd round. Jalen Waddle, Tank Dell. Then at the turn, he took DK and T. Higgins. Kenneth Walker went. Josh Allen went 4-3. Zay Flowers went 4-4. And then James Cook went at 4-5. And now it's 3 picks away for me. And I'm looking at guys like some older running backs, and I'm looking at wide receivers. The wide receivers, though, they don't know this because it's obviously recording. It's not going to come out by the time my pick comes. But I'm actually looking at my wide receiver 3, and there's guys like Mike Evans sitting there, and he's just sneaky sitting there, and he's signed to at least 2 more years. And I'm like, I already have Pittman and Chase. Even if I take Evans and I only have him for 2 years, it's still such a good it's a 3 wide receiver league.
It's a good start right there. So you don't have to, you can start hitting the other positions.
And if they all get picked, there's like your boy Debo, there's George Pickens, there's then there's older guys like Kupp and Keenan. Oh, and there's also sneaky. If I want to be sneaky, it'll be a little earlier than I want to take him. But I could also take Hollywood Brown if I think he's going to be something with Mahomes.
It is a little early though. He's always hurt. It's just a risk.
I know.
I like the landing spot, but if he has to stay healthy, that's the thing.
The running backs left are Pacheco, White, Swift, Kamara, Harris, Tajay, Montgomery, Mixon, Brian Robinson, Javonte, Aaron Jones, guys like that. But enough of that, guys. Sorry about that. I wanted to talk about it a little bit because some of the guys that are listening and that are loyal listeners are actually in that league. So I figured they wanted to hear about it. So if anybody's listening, they're like, I'm not in that league. Eventually, because even if we come to the point where our threshold is too many leagues to play in, we're still always going to do draft and best ball and stuff like that, especially in best ball season. So that's always fun too. We'll get some fans in there. I know interact that way. Though we always find new formats, and that's what makes us do brand new leagues.
I'm going to be drafting most of these leagues after the NFL draft, so be ready that this stuff's going to be popping off pretty quick. I just did the draft order for the listener league, Superflex league.
You just did?
I just did it. Not just now, but I did it earlier today.
Oh, 4 hours ago. Well, that's good for you.
I still got a couple of my money leagues that people need to fucking pay the hell up.
So, in the Superflex League, we'll give a shout out to the top 3. We'll go top 5. The top 5 goes Giants fans, Steel City, Hitman, Grizz, and Ziploc. And they get the top 5. That's awesome, and that also means that they get the turn when we do the rookie draft too.
Ooh. I got the 11th pick,
which means you have the 102 in rookie.
Yeah.
Which is crazy good because that what that means.
It means a lot of things. I could go any way I want. That's what that means.
I already know what you're gonna do. You're gonna get one of the guys. This quarterback class isn't impressive enough for me to see you passing up on whichever wide receiver falls to you, whether it's Harrison or whether it's Neighbors. You're grabbing one of them. I'm going to be 5. Yeah, I'm going to be the 105 because I am the 108, which sucks. I hate 108. All right.
Well, the draft will tell me what I'm going to end up doing in that.
You know what?
Like if I'm gonna just punt this season or not.
Yeah, me too. 8 is not that bad now that I think about it, because now I'll be 105, and you're right. There's gonna be some teams that might be ahead of me that whiffed on quarterback and have to reach on some of the quarterbacks, and I end up with Neighbors or Harrison or Blake Corum or whoever it is, because they get pushed down the draft. I ended up with 1 year. It was the rookie season of Jonathan Taylor. People were so excited. I ended up with him at like 105 or something like that. 105. It was like 105 or 106 because Clyde went ahead of him, but then all the quarterbacks went ahead of him. So it was like I got him at like 105 or 106. Crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're doing that. We got some Devy leagues that we're trying to get going.
Yeah, we got the Devy leagues that we're doing. Got that going. If it's a success and people really like it, I'll do a couple more, just in case there's some people listening. They're not in any of our newer leagues and want to pop in. I've thought about doing that because I'll do it in a couple. I don't mind. It's a new game type. It's something I really want to get into. Obviously, we're still going to focus on Dynasty more than Devy, but Devy is a form of Dynasty. It's a more in-depth way of Dynasty. So,
very much so.
I think it's like training and like studying and Devy will make us better at Dynasty because we're already going to be looking at kids that for so long scouting them for Devy leagues. That once they come in for as Dynasty, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I have this guy in like 3 Devy leagues already. I wanted him in a Devy league, and I heard who he was, etc. So I'm only in one Devy league.
I joined one that's gonna draft in like April sometime, and
son of a bitch, why'd you do that? You could have waited. I would have made another one. Now you're not gonna join my next one.
What do you mean?
Now you're not going to join my next one because you're going to be like, I'm in too many, and you can join some random person. Curse whoever you are, not a sponsor. Curse whoever you are, person that you are.
Hitman invited me to that
league. He didn't invite me in any. He's telling me today to stop making new leagues, and he's making new leagues and not inviting me.
Oh, this was a long time ago. I got invited to this.
Oh.
He probably invited you and you just didn't join. So
that's fair. That's fair. There's a good chance he invited me, and it was in my long break where I just had stuff going on outside, and I just didn't check the app for like weeks. And if he had sent me an invite, it would have definitely expired. That's fair. I felt betrayed.
He felt betrayed. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the last star. We got about 18 minutes or so. We'll talk about, we have one main free agent signing. We haven't really, I don't know. We're not 100% sure if we talked about him in a past episode or not because we did record and then like a week or so went by. We want to talk more in depth about Derrick Henry and his dynasty value. What is his dynasty value? Because I'm drafting right now in a couple free leagues just for fun. And I'm trying to gauge that right now because I picked at 102 and it's coming up at me in my 4th pick. And I have to grab a running back on that turn. I'm probably going to grab 1 wide receiver, 1 running back because it's a 3 wide receiver. But I do need to grab a running back. So what is his value? Is he different? Is he going to play till he's 34? Is he Frank Gore?
That dynasty value it's probably not that high. But for if you're like a contender, then you should hold on.
Yeah,
if you're a contender, you should be buying him,
Yeah.
For now, I would pay like 2 seconds for him. Just because if you're a competitive team, like that's like the max.
What?
I would never do it first.
8 second and you didn't respond to me.
I declined. Is what I did.
You didn't respond to me though. Did you trade him to somebody else?
No, I didn't trade him at all.
Then trade 2 seconds to me.
2 seconds.
I will trade that. Let's do it right now. What league was that?
I'll bring it up.
Oh, I don't even know what league it was.
It'll be in the DMs,
messages, isn't it? Yes, yeah. I'm so glad that Sleeper. Shout out Sleeper. I'm so glad you do that. CBL. Oh yeah, come on, dude. Why didn't you just tell me that? You should have sent me that right back. What do you want? This year, next year?
Yeah. My wide receivers are so stacked.
Hold on. No, we're gonna have to go off air. You have multiple people on the block that I want, so I'm thinking about just going for it. I'm a champion. I was a champion there, and then I was like semifinals last year. So like I actually want to go for it. So I would actually pay seconds and firsts and stuff to secure some of your older guys that you're getting rid of. That's why I asked. You have like Devontae Adams, Kelsey, and in there. I'm not saying I could afford all 3, but I would go for at least 2 of them.
Right, maybe you could afford them all. We'll see.
Maybe I could. I do have young players. Let's see. Yeah, I got a couple there.
My wide receivers are stacked.
As much as I would love to make an on-air trade, you have other things that I want to acquire. And I think to make the most of it, we got to make it one trade.
We'll talk about this trade on a future episode.
Yeah, if we remember.
I will.
I'm just kidding with him.
I promise.
I like Derrick Henry. I think he's going to do well. And let's not forget, for the people who are newer, they're not going to remember this. For me, I shouldn't remember this because comparatively to old school football fans, I'm kind of newer. Frank Gore had traumatic injuries, to like ACL tears and everything before he came in. Everybody thought he wasn't going to last, and then he had an Iron Man career. Yep. Will Derrick Henry, did he have way more carries than, way harder carries than Frank Gore? It's very possible. But with sports medicine the way it is today and the way Derrick Henry's built and the way that Derrick Henry trains, he had a freak accident with his foot. But other than that, he's always been healthy. He's never really given a sign of crumbling. So will he? I'm not going to say he will, but can he? Yes.
But in the beginning of his career, he didn't really get that much usage. So
that was my next point.
A little more tread on the tires.
Same. You got it, dude. You got it. I'm pumped about that. Yeah.
I mean, he could definitely go into like 33. I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to be productive that whole time, but he could probably do that.
But even on the Ravens, he could do less yardage, but getting more touchdowns because they're getting up on goal line and they're just like, let's just barrel through. They're always known for having a pretty good line, and they're just like, let's just get Derrick close. Gus Edwards was, putting in work last year. I don't care if he's washed, which I don't think he is, washed or not. Even a washed Derrick Henry, in my opinion, I feel so bad saying this. Even a washed Derrick Henry is better than Gus Edwards. That's my honest opinion. The most washed version you're ever going to see of Derrick Henry in the NFL is better than Gus Edwards. And that's not because Gus Edwards is bad. That's because I think Derrick Henry is that good.
Derrick Henry is that good. He's a freak. One of a kind guy.
And like you said, I was going to bring that up. He didn't play the first couple years of his career. He sat behind DeMarco Murray and barely played. So they were smart about it. The Titans were like, hey, we're going to use all the tread up on DeMarco, draft this running back that everybody else wants, and then just sit on him and then bring him out. And even the first couple of years he played, he was like splitting with Deion Lewis and like doing random stuff like that.
Well, they have Keaton Mitchell there too.
Yeah.
I know they don't have J.K. Dobbins because he's still a free agent, but
no J.K. Dobbins, no Gus, and no Melvin Gordon.
Yep. Not that mattered.
No, I know.
Melgo.
How funny would it have been if he stayed on the Ravens and the Ravens did win the Super Bowl and then he got to he just kept being on either on the team or on the practice squad getting a Super Bowl ring on multiple teams, squeaking at the last minute. It's holds the record for 2 or 3 times. He just keeps doing it.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, we got let's see, we got about 11 minutes left roughly, and we got a couple other. Let's see, do we have any other?
I mean, Saquon to Philly, that's huge.
We talked about that. We got to talk about what was I just gonna say?
Oh, Rico Dowdle. What? Rico Dowdle re-signed.
That's what I was just gonna say. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I was just gonna say, are the Cowboys crazy? They re-signed. I don't know. I'm sure it's not a big deal or anything, but the fact that they're just they're pumping up Rico Dowdle, they're gonna do something with him, and it's that's frustrating because it's that's one of the teams I count on to actually have a good running back, and Pollard didn't really work out, and I had Zeke for years, and I was always happy with Zeke, and then they let him go a little too early, in my opinion.
I mean, they're gonna add somebody. They're gonna add another running back.
Yeah, Zeke.
Maybe.
How funny would it be if he came and played for $3 million a year or something low deal where he just wants to play football?
Yeah, he just wants to retire in Dallas and just call it a career.
It depends on the player. Some guys I feel and I feel mean saying this, but they deserve to be this way in their prime, and then out of their prime they still have the same mindset, and then they become delusional where they feel like they're worth a certain amount of money, and then once they're not worth that money, they become stubborn. And it's the guys who are really competitive and just want to play, you'll see them get a bigger role because they're like, all right, I'm going to come in and play on a $2 or $3 million contract and maybe do some incentives. And then if I do well, cool. But then that gives them an incentive to use you because then you're trying to do well. Rather than these guys who were like when Melvin Gordon missed out on a bunch of money because he was like, I think I'm worth X amount, and he wasn't. And he was like, dude, it's like you could have gotten paid a decent chunk and stayed with your old team, and you didn't want to do that. And then now you're getting paid nothing. Like, ugh. Eckler. Eckler is excited.
Eckler.
Eckler is excited to play the way he played at the beginning of his career. He said he actually thinks he plays better with less volume and with just explosive coming in and doing his thing. And I kind of like that. Like, do I think more carries is better because you're going to get more opportunities? Yes. But if he, as an athlete and as a person, feels he's going to perform better being used a certain way, then let's do it like that. He's not, we talked about it in past episodes. He's not a guy who should be getting a million carries and you being used like a Derrick Henry grinder. He should be getting passes. So, yeah. So there's a little bit of a rant. I have a lot of Eckler and I'm hoping for the best, and I really like him as a person.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be great for Eckler too. He is a bit slower now. We've seen it, but I don't think that it's...
How much of that is the injury? Because he had a leg injury.
It's true, but
I forgot what part of the leg it was, but he had an actual leg injury. It wasn't like he hurt it, because you know what I'm saying? Like when a running back has a shoulder injury and then all of a sudden they're way slower, that's one thing. But like he had a leg injury, so I got to see it. I think you're probably right, but like let me just see it in a game or two, so I can really know. Eckler is somebody I was hoping to ride for another like last year, and then another year or two after that, and ride off into the sunset. A lot of guys I won't trade the end of their career because I don't want to lowball. I'm just like, let me just experience what they got, and then they'll retire on my team.
Oh, Joe Mixon, Houston.
Mixon to the Houston Texans is huge to me. He's one of the guys I'm looking at on the turn in that league that I was just talking about.
He got a decent deal too. It was like 3 years, like $27 million or something like that.
Yeah. That to me that means they like him. They want to use him. They plan on him spending the rest of his prime and obviously he's a running back, so he's decreasing over time. But like they're hoping to use him. They're going to use him up, and I think if you're a Mixon fan, an owner rather, if you're a Mixon owner, you got to be excited about this, in my opinion.
I have a lot of Mixon, and I am excited. I'm glad he didn't land somewhere stupid, like somewhere that has like 3 running backs already.
Yes, and isn't it funny how a year ago you would have been like pissed that he landed in Houston?
Yep.
And then now you're happy, but unless you're a Dameon Pierce owner, and then you're pissed.
Well, I mean, you were already pissed last year because you were a Dameon Pierce owner.
Even worse because there was a 2-week period where Singletary got signed to the Giants and everybody got excited who was a Pierce owner and was like, oh, wow, okay, now is our chance. Like, he's going to come. And then, like, literally they traded for Mixon, like, right after that.
Yep.
So I'm trying to look and see if there's any.
And they traded for him, too, so he wouldn't go to market.
Yes, which is totally different. They didn't want to chance it. They were like, I want this guy. Yep. They made it news roll back. Because everybody was like, oh, the Niners signed Josh Dobbs.
Yep. Full year, fully guaranteed deal, like $2 million and $250,000 or something like that.
That's cool. I just dropped him in a league. I shouldn't have, but I needed it. I when you're over because you had guys in the injured reserve. So I was just like, he's got to go. I had way too many QBs in that league.
Fucking Hitman rolled over a bunch of leagues. Made me have to get under. I was all busy the other day. I was just sitting there for like an hour and a half, just getting my leagues in order.
Absolutely. See if anybody's picked in that league. Oh no, that guy's still on the clock. Giants fans started with Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Brandon Ayuk, and James Cook.
Not a bad start. I'll take that start. That's a pretty good start.
That's a good start. Here's our starts. We got 5 minutes. We got anything else? Yeah. So better luck next week. Got on the turn on the 110 turn. McCaffrey Kyron Williams, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins. And if T. Higgins gets traded to the right place, he's a wide receiver 1 somewhere. And if he doesn't, he's still productive and does what he does. So no matter what, I like that as a wide receiver 2. A Merkel, shout out, got Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Tank Dell, Kenneth Walker. I like that start.
It's a good team.
Raccoonaholic got Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Josh Allen, but he doubled up on the Dolphins.
I didn't like that.
So
that's not
I
smart.
think he must have just felt. I've only done it a few times. He must have genuinely felt that Waddle was that much better than everybody else there. Ray Vaquero started with Bijan, Nico Collins in the second, Trey McBride in the third, and then Zay Flowers in the fourth. He went with his heart there, but he also vocally in the chat said he didn't like his team.
I think so he's probably just grabbing all the young assets he can now and just trying to.
Yeah, I agree.
Already punting.
I definitely agree.
With that Zay Flowers pick, like he's like, you've seen the picks, they're all like younger dudes that are gonna gain value and not lose value. So
everybody else has 3 picks. So Titans fan has Puka, Devon Achane, and Drake London. So he went all young. And then Tommy went Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Jacobs, Devonta Smith. I like that.
I still feel like A.J. Brown's going to get traded.
He said it's not going to happen.
We'll see. That's when it usually happens.
Davis sneaking out Justin Jefferson at 103 because I wanted Chase and the other guy didn't want Jefferson. He had Jefferson, Laporta, and Olave. I obviously have Chase, Etienne, and Pittman, and then Ziploc Baggins ended up with Lamb, Barkley, and Moore. DJ Moore.
It's a good start.
It's a good start, yep. I'm a couple picks away, and I'm thinking there's a good chance during the second pot I'll get to make my pick. Hopefully. It's been stuck on this guy forever. Actually, every time so far, it's been not a long time, but longer than everybody else. So I kind of know it at this point. That's what it is.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up.
For sure. We got about a minute and a half. We got anything to plug? Let me see if I got something.
All those leagues. We're doing an auction league.
One second.
For the listener league.
1, 2. No, I don't like that. Let's see if we got something. We definitely gotta get something.
Oh, like an outro music?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the default ones it came with.
That had a anime vibe to it right there.
Yeah. All right, guys.
No, this is not good. We shouldn't do this.
I know. No, it's more fun than anything. Hey, we'll figure something out. It's one of those things where it's a work in progress. Just like your Dynasty.
We're just starting out. Bear with us.
All right, everybody. Well,
like, subscribe, share, comment, dislike, whatever.
Again, I don't care what you say. I mean, I don't care if you just do emojis. Like, I've had people just comment and do like fire emojis or smiling emojis or something, and like that's algorithm. Like, I don't care. Just do what you do. We need like support. I know there's been a lot of stuff. Everybody's going through stuff. We had a really strong start. We had some good support in a couple episodes. And the last couple, I don't know if we're just really seeing them at weird times or if we're not. Maybe we're not advertising them enough. We'll figure it out.
Maybe we should put them earlier in the day.
And maybe I try to do it later in the day because I just assume I don't really. If people want to see it during the premiere, they can see it during the premiere. I more want to get it out so that the next day it's just available. They can watch it whenever they want. But we can poll. If you guys want to comment and let us know if you like watching live. Do you prefer watching live? Do you just catch it whenever? Do you, whatever you want to do, just let us know. We'll adapt with that because we want to make sure you guys are happy, because as much as we want to grow, we also want to make sure we acknowledge the people that were here at the beginning. We want to make sure that you guys know that you guys were here. You stuck with us. You helped us grow. You liked, you commented, you shared, you told the other people to subscribe. You made sure that we grew. We want to make sure we acknowledge you above everybody else. And that's not like to down any new fans. If you're watching this, you're a new fan, I don't want you to feel any certain way, because you are here at the beginning. This is only episode 107. Go back and watch those other 6. You're here at the beginning. This is just as much the beginning as number 1. We're here. We just started. So just remember that. And we really appreciate you. So remember that. We're going to come out with some kind of merch. So and we're only going to, we should get something where we have 100 original shirts, and then that's it. So if you have that shirt, you're one of the original 100. We'll never sell that shirt again. So as we grow, we'll do cool stuff like that. And we'll start, as we grow more, we'll start doing cool stuff like giveaways. I've already told Piff, we'll do cool, not only jersey leagues, but we'll do just giveaway jerseys.
Jersey giveaways,
yeah, stuff like that. So
gotta bet on ourselves too. So
absolutely. We'll get Kadarius Toney. Everybody wants that. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, guys, make sure you make the right picks, or you do end up with Kadarius Toney. And until next time, that is Piff. I am Tomcat. Keep
much love, guys.
above all.